Ladies and gentlemen, right this very moment, the RINOs, the Republicans in name only, are actively trying to undermine President Trump's America First agenda. Now, as everyone knows, the central message of President Trump's 2024 campaign was built on the promise of carrying out mass deportations and getting rid of every single illegal alien that has invaded our country. However, like I previously said, the RINOs, the anti-American globalists, and of course the far-left radical progressives all absolutely love their illegal aliens, and so this time, it's the RINOs who are attempting to stop President Trump's plan for mass deportations. And so folks, to really kick off today's broadcast, take a look at this bombshell report coming from none other than Charlie Kirk. Let it play.
But you would think that, hey, we get $175 billion for ICE, we're going to get mass deportations. We're going to be able to have now the largest deportation effort ever. Yes, in theory, but in practice, there's something else afoot. Literally, the day before President Donald Trump was signing the big, beautiful bill, I got a couple phone calls from people that you would call members of the ruling class. A lot of money and a lot of connections. They said, Charlie, isn't this amazing? We passed the big, beautiful bill. I said, oh, yes, sir. And they said, now we need mass amnesty. What? I said, we haven't even signed the bill yet. They said, yeah, you know, these deportations, we're going to lose the midterms because of the deportations. The people on the right, they'll understand. And we need to come to the middle and we need to legalize the 25 million people here in this country. I was speechless.
You hear that? He was speechless, and honestly, so am I. Folks, right now, the RINOs are actually trying to push the narrative that President Trump needs to start granting amnesty to millions of illegal aliens, and that if he doesn't, the Republicans are going to lose midterms. And what about the 77 million people that voted for President Trump to carry out mass deportations? Well, just ignore them. They'll understand anyway. No one really cares about deportations anyway, right? Yeah, wrong. As you all know, we all voted for President Trump to systematically remove every single one of these illegal alien invaders from the country, and actually, as things currently stand, well over half the country actually supports President Trump's ongoing endeavor to deport every single illegal alien currently inside of the country. In fact, I want you all to take a look at some brand new bombshell polling data regarding this very topic, but first, I do want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a lot. But okay, check this out.
And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deport all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. According to not one, but numerous independent polls from just over the last couple of weeks, well over half of the nation supports President Trump's ongoing endeavor to deport every single illegal alien that's currently inside of the country. But you know what? What do you say we take a look at this ongoing RINO plot to push for amnesty? Take a look at this. I went ahead and looked into who specifically is pushing for this whole amnesty package, and at the moment, it seems as if various representatives from big agriculture are the largest proponents of this amnesty plan, specifically for all of the illegal alien farm workers. Now, of course, they're not coming out and openly calling it an amnesty plan because they know that that wouldn't go over well with the American people. Instead, they're trying to give all of these illegal aliens what are effectively permanent work visas, pretty much the same thing. And so let's go ahead and ask the question, why would representatives from big agriculture be pushing for amnesty on illegal alien farm workers? Well, it's because their big agricultural lobbyists don't want to lose all of their cheap illegal alien manual laborers. But you know what? Here's the most insane thing about this entire situation. I did some research into all of this, and according to recent data from the National Agricultural Workers Survey, which is official data from the U.S. Department of Labor, on average, illegal alien farm workers only make around 8% less than farm workers that are U.S. citizens. We also know from numerous official government sources that there are currently around 1.5 million illegal alien farm workers inside of the country right now, and we also know that we do, in fact, actually have American citizens that would happily take those jobs, but that instead they're being given to illegal aliens because they are cheaper to hire. So just to put this entire situation into context, these RINOs are pushing for amnesty for around 1.5 million illegal aliens so that they can increase big agriculture's bottom line by at most 8%. And in pursuit of that slight increase in profit, they're willing to sell out the American labor force, American culture, and American national security. Folks, this right here is why we voted for President Trump, to put an end to all of this short-sighted, anti-American, traitorous behavior. And so, folks, here's the cold hard truth about this entire situation. All of these RINOs, who, don't forget, absolutely hate President Trump, know that if they can get Trump to grant millions of illegal aliens amnesty, it will absolutely infuriate his base, that's us, and that it might even kill the MAGA America First movement that President Trump has spent the last 10 years painstakingly creating. And so, folks, that right there is their true plan, and that is what they really want. They want all of us America First insane radicals to just shut up and get back in line. Now, luckily, some congressional Republicans are actually speaking out against this idea of amnesty for illegal alien farm workers. In fact, just yesterday evening, the official House GOP Judiciary page on Twitter emphatically posted, "No amnesty." So hey, at least right now we know that we've still got some good people fighting against all of this on the inside, but I'll tell you what, from everything I've heard, right now there is a civil war going on at this very moment inside of the GOP, considering whether or not this amnesty plan should be pursued. But you know what? Check this out. Let me give you all a little bit of a reminder as to why an amnesty package like this one would be so catastrophic. As many of you might remember, all the way back in 1986, Ronald Reagan granted amnesty to just over 3 million illegal aliens, most of which lived in California at the time, which gave all of them permanent legal status inside of the USA as well as a pathway to US citizenship. And so, as a consequence of Ronald Reagan's amnesty program, which many people now agree was probably the single biggest mistake of his entire political career, within just 6 years, California flipped from being a long-standing conservative red state to a radically progressive blue state. Seriously, all of those illegal aliens that Reagan granted amnesty to pretty much just immediately started voting for the Democrats because it was the Democrats who started promising to give all of them a bunch of free stuff. Imagine that. Sound familiar? Yeah. And so, ladies and gentlemen, here's the truth. Allowing all of these illegal alien invaders to not only remain in the nation legally, but to also offer them a pathway to citizenship was one of the most catastrophic and consequential decisions of the second half of the 20th century. A decision, by the way, that we are still struggling to deal with to this very day. And so, folks, this is why giving amnesty to any of these illegal aliens is an absolutely terrible idea. We've already tried this before, it colossally backfired, and really, you're just rewarding people that have illegally invaded the country. And I'll tell you what, honestly, call me a radical, I don't really care, but personally, I think that all of these American employers that have been willingly and knowingly employing illegal aliens now need to be held accountable. You deliberately sell out America, you pay a price. And why? Because now it's time to start finally putting America first. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up, I do want to say real quick that we officially have a Morse News Twitter page as well as a Morse News Facebook page. So if you use either of those platforms, please go down below and drop a follow in order to get breaking news updates that relate to everything we talk about here in the YouTube videos. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. please like the video while you're down there. And like I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. And of course, as always, stay safe.